Life, camera, action!
Hey everyone, my name is Amanda, and this is my roommate.
Hi, I'm Megan.
So today we're here to talk to you about what it's like to room with someone you previously knew before coming to college.
Right.
We wanted to give you guys a little insight about our relationship first and our opinion of it, and then kind of advise you guys on what you should do and what...
If it's a good idea or not to room with somebody that you're already friends with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, to start off, we'll give you guys a little context on who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We met in dance when we were 15-ish. And we went to different high schools.
Yep.
And we just kind of became friends about 3 or 4 years ago. And we lived in different towns, so it was constantly building our friendship to have to go and, like...
Make an effort to build a friendship with somebody, because it's a lot harder when they don't go to your school.
Right. Our friendship kind of began when we started doing concept videos on my YouTube channel. We filmed them with her twin brother, Michael, and that's honestly how our friendship started.
Right.
And it just, like, never
The
stopped.
rest is history.
Right. So that's our context. So
right.
Obviously that's going to be different for everyone, and that's going to affect whether or not you should room.
It's a good idea.
Right.
A huge part of why I think we work so well rooming together is because we didn't go to the same high school. We were not reliant on each other throughout the day at school like you would be with, like, your high school best friends. We actually had to make an effort to see each other, almost kind of like a relationship.
Right.
Almost in a way. Like,
right.
You know, you actually, if you want to spend time with a person, you actually have to put in a little effort. So I think that's a big reason why our friendship is so strong, because we both very early on understood that, you know, we have separate lives, but if you want to make it work, gotta make it work.
Yes. Yeah. And that obviously involved driving back and forth and kind of keeping that even. We live far.
A distance, like 20-ish minutes away from each other.
So it was always like, especially when we first started driving, it was always like, okay, who's going to spend the gas money this time? Like, it was very much...
We were afraid to drive on the highway.
Right, we were afraid to drive on the highway.
So you have to drive a lot longer all the way around on the back roads.
Yeah, so it was definitely, like, building a friendship. It wasn't something that was, like, handed to us.
Right.
The way we ended up at Manhattanville is kind of coincidental, honestly. I toured the school first, and she had no idea about the school.
Yeah, didn't know it existed.
No. And I finished the tour, and my first thought was, like, Megan would love it here. I didn't even know if they had her major, so I called her after. I'm like, hey, I don't even know if they have what you want, but at least look into it. Like, I think you'd really like this school. And she toured, and that was it.
Loved it.
She was like, I'm committing.
Yeah. Like, number one choice, like, immediately.
Right. And then shortly after, I was, like, pretty positive I was going there, too. And we were just like, we love this school. We went to the open houses together. By the way, I saw on my calendar from last year. It was, like, a year ago today.
Really?
Isn't that funny?
Aww.
After a lot of different decisions and, you know, financial stuff, we finally got to the end of it, and we were like, we're both going here, like, and we just knew. We were like, we're rooming, like, why wouldn't we? And that's a point I have to make, is like, if you are going to the same college as one of your close friends, or even just a friend from high school, and it's like a question in your mind,
it might be a red flag.
Right, it might be a red flag.
Because this is where you're going to be living. You're moving out of your house into a completely new environment, and you want to be comfortable where you are. So if there's even a question in your mind like, ooh, I don't know if the personalities are going to be a match, or I don't know, maybe she's messier than me, or whatever, probably you should think about it a little bit, because, you know. Another major thing to consider is if you're willing to fight for a relationship at the end of the day. So if you think there's a chance that living with somebody could, you know, put a strain on your relationship, then it's probably not. I think that's open.
Okay, we'll fix it later. Speaking of strains on relationships, you kind of have to analyze the strains you've already had on that relationship. This is like gonna sound so odd and so strange.
Very odd.
We never fight. And if we do, it's like an argument. Not even.
It's like a disagreement.
It's a disagreement, and we're like, all right, shut up. And you, like, move on and laugh about it.
And it rarely happens.
Rarely. And that rarely happens, but also, like, friendships like ours rarely happen. So,
Yes.
like, you really have to be, like, mine is rare, too. Like, we don't fight. We've been together for so many years. Like, we've been friends for so long. And your friendship is, like, unconditional. That's that's the word I would give it.
It's really funny. All the time, me and Amanda say, like, oh, my husband needs to be the male version of her.
Right.
And her husband needs to be the male version of me. And I tell her all the time, she's my soulmate, but the person who I end up marrying or whatever is going to be the love of my life. But she's my soulmate, like, truly. Like, she is. So.
And that, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And that goes without saying. And that's why this works.
Yeah. We have very, very similar views on, like, morals and values, which is a huge thing. I think that helps a lot in the relationship.
Yeah. Because in college, those could be a little skewed.
Yes.
Because you're impressionistic.
Right. Impressionable. That's another thing. Sometimes I'm here to help Amanda sound smarter.
It was a really good attempt.
It was. No. But you're impressionable, and having somebody who stands firm with their morals and values almost the same as you do
brings you back to that point.
Brings you back into reality, pulls you back from, some
things that could throw you askew a little.
Yes.
Because college is good at that. It's really easy to be cookie cutter in college because everyone wants to be accepted. So if you're
living with somebody who
reminds you who you are and reminds you of what you believe in, then it's very, very important to, like, have that to come home to.
But it's also very important that you're not attached at the hip with the person that you're living with. It's very important to be your own person. And I think that's something that we also are good at because we didn't go to the same school.
Right.
Like I said earlier, we don't rely on each other. We're also both in completely different majors. We have completely different schedules. Half the time I'm up and out of the room before Amanda even wakes up. Right. So our schedules are very, very different, and
you just have to know yourself and know what your relationship consists of. If you went to the same high school and you find yourself
relying on
them and doing things because it's convenient, like, say if you're neighbors and, like, you go to school together, you come home, you do homework together, you can't, like, it's just not going to work in college.
Right.
Because you need to be your own person. That's what college is for.
Or you're going to get so lost.
So
lost.
Because after that, that's adult life. And, like, college is supposed to prepare you for that.
Right.
And if you were not prepared because you made a bad decision rooming with someone that, like, you rely on, it's not going to work. So, to recap, if you're questioning living with someone that you knew before college, we'd say the top couple of things that you need to consider are your morals, having the same outlook as the person.
Right.
As
very important.
You were saying, like, we go to bed at the same not the same, but, like, around the same time.
So none of us want to have, like, crazy parties in here all the time, all night, because we both want to go to bed and we both want to get a good night's sleep, and, that's a
the way we work.
Belief that we have.
This is, like, funny, but we just decided that we wanted to combine clothes, and, like, that's another thing. Like, we have similar thoughts and things tend to work out.
And that's also something that we did a lot even before we came to college, is sharing a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
And that's another big thing, is trust. Trusting the other person with your things if you were going to do something that we did where we combined all of our stuff, which is very beneficial because it really helps with the spatial aspect when you combine your things. But I wouldn't recommend that for everybody. You really have to know your friendship with the person that you're thinking about living with. You have to trust them that they're going to treat your things with respect, just like how you would treat their stuff with respect. So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So having the same outlooks, having the same, like, similar interests, and just being able to compromise. That's another thing.
Yeah.
You could go on about that.
All the time, either me or Amanda, somebody's doing work or somebody has to get something done and the other person's kind of just relaxing in the room. Put your headphones on and be considerate, and don't play your phone out loud, don't listen to videos out loud, or leave the space so they can do what they have to do. You have to compromise, and you have to be considerate of the other person that you're living with.
And if there's even a slight question in the back of your mind that the other person might not be that,
Yeah.
It's just so important when you're living with someone.
Right.
Like,
communication
yeah.
is also huge.
Yeah.
It's
like literally a relationship. Like, really, everything they tell you
really
about
is.
a relationship.
It really is. Communication is key. Because you're living with somebody. Most of the people you live with in your life are your parents, who you communicate all the time with, siblings who you're communicating with. And then eventually when you're older, the person you get married to. And they say the most important thing in that type of relationship is communication. So this is no different. You're living with somebody in a very small amount of space, which amplifies that you need to communicate more.
Right.
So, for example, somebody leaves a mess, you have to be okay to communicate and say, listen, like, I didn't do that, can you please clean it up?
Yeah. That's also what helps us living together. We can communicate so well and always have, and that's why this works.
Right.
Like, even today, I was like, hey, we should do laundry. Okay, we both grabbed the stuff when we went downstairs. Then she said, hey, I'm going to grab it from the dryer later so that we have it for later. Like, it's clear communication.
Right.
Like, if you don't think the person is capable of that or mature enough for that, like, it's
or
just
yourself.
such a bad idea.
If you don't think you're capable of that, that's a huge thing. You have to know yourself. You have to know how you are in your previous living situation. If you're super reliant on your parents, or if you're independent, or you have to really be self-aware of how you live.
Yes.
And you need to evaluate if you could live with somebody else that you have a relationship with.
Right. And, like, the last point I'll make is, yes, we both agree that it is better to live with someone that you knew already.
Yes.
Versus a stranger, because as great as that could be, like, you could meet someone that becomes your best friend, we've noticed it's very rare.
Very rare. A funny story, really quick, is in the beginning of the year, there was one night I just got really sick, and I had food poisoning, and it was not good. I was very, very nauseous and throwing up, TMI, but it was just not fun. And if I was living with a complete stranger, I don't know what I would have done. Amanda took care of me the entire time. Like, I don't think I could have done it with somebody I didn't know.
It's right. That would have been, like, such a disaster.
A disaster.
Or someone else. Like,
yeah. And making it, like, not a great impression on them. Yeah.
And same thing with me. Is something awful happened to me recently, and the fact that I could come back to their room and feel like I had someone to trust about it. She's the only person that knows about what happened. It's just so comforting and such a support. She dropped everything and took me to the doctor and helped me out. Like, it's been one of the best parts of college so far.
For sure.
So, point of the story, we wish you luck in the whole college process.
It's so much fun.
Everything.
It's such a really, really fun experience.
It's a fun time for yourself, too, just discovering yourself and discovering other people and your life. So, good luck to you. And if you have any more questions that we didn't answer, comment down below.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.